Hello everyone, today's video is going to be my March palette roundup. I write down every palette that I use on each day, and I do a wrap up at the end of each month, ranking them based on how often I actually use the palette. So I just have a calendar, I write the eyeshadow palette each and every day. To me it is quite easy, and at the end of the year I plan on doing a ranking all of my eyeshadows based on how often I actually use them. In March, I wore makeup 26 days, and that's quite frequent for me. I do wear days 5 to 7 days a week, more like 6 days a week. And I wore 17 different eyeshadow palettes. 3 of these palettes came into my collection within the last month. And I am super excited to show you guys all the eyeshadow palettes, and then I also am planning on scooting over and I'm going to be putting pictures. Also, my new little bunny. I'm filming this on Easter and it's the same makeup look as my last video. I'm just trying to get all this filming done when I have decent lighting. I'll put pictures of looks that I did with palettes here. Follow me on Instagram, which I'm sure where all of you guys came from, but make sure you follow me on Instagram to see in real life updates. I used 3 different palettes 3 different times. My first new palette was the Tokyo Harajuku palette. I really enjoyed this one. Such a perfect spring type palette, and I made three different looks with this palette, really trying to test, and I used every single shade. I did like all 3 looks. They're very soft, they're very spring type appropriate. Next one that was used 3 times was the Lorac Fairy Tale Forest. This has been a most used palette in the last couple years, and it is just a neutral eyeshadow palette, and then there are 2 pops of green. Last palette that I did 3 looks with or used in 3 days was the BH Avocado Toast palette. This is like the definition of March for me. Unfortunately, I didn't quite do my No Pan Left Behind challenge with this, but this is beautiful. You have different types of tones of green, and you even have some like a yellowy tones, pinky tones, reddish tones to tie it all in. And it has a holographic background, so it's hard to see. But I really enjoyed the green looks that I did with this. And I am really glad that I got some use out of the BH palettes. I have 5 palettes that I used 2 times. I'm gonna talk about the 2 new ones that came into my collection. These came near the end of the month, so I really only used them twice. They're both of my Fantasy Cosmetica palettes. This first one is the Rogue, which I'm so happy I got this one. The shimmers are beautiful, and I really like the shimmers just overpower the looks beautifully, and the black in here is really nice. And both of these are the new packaging, so you can actually take these shadows out and put them in a Z palette. If you had all of the new ones, you can mix and match color stories. Highly recommend their formulas. But this one is a blue, purple, and like a slight green palette. Then we have Wizard. This is, I think, is my favorite packaging. This is the Wizard palette on the inside. Mainly blues, a little pop of yellow, and then these do have purple undertones. But this is the Wizard palette. Like, I already knew I liked the Fantasy Cosmetica formula, and that is why I bought the mystery box, and I will leave my mystery box video down below. Over this last month, we went to go see Fluffy Gabriel Iglesias in Wilkes-Barre, and to go to it, we stayed overnight. Got to see Fluffy. He was amazing. It was a really good show. I've never been to anything like that live, and of course I did my makeup for the event, and then our next day shopping around. So I brought the Essence Curl Me Maybe, so I did use it for those 2 days over the weekend. And this is just a very simple, peachy. I am wearing on my eyes today is the Profusion Ethereal palette. This is gorgeous. This look, and I think it was another blue look that I did with this. Really pretty. You got some beautiful peaches, purples, neutrals. I'm really drawn to like these two tealish colors. This is gorgeous. You just gotta see it. It reminds me of like the Fantasy Cosmetica shimmers, where it has a sheerer base, but it just glistens. And it's so soft in the pan. The last palette that I used twice was the Moira Magic Dreaming palette. This is really pretty. And it has a lot of greens, blues, neutrals. Some of my favorite looks that I did this month, I used this palette. It's just the shimmers are unreal. The shimmers are beautiful. The mattes blend really nicely. Don't sleep on Moira. If you see a palette color store you like, get it. They're inexpensive. They're relatively affordable, especially for the quality. And it's just really pretty. The only downfall is that it's thick. It's thick. Like, look at this versus the BH palette. Thick. I mean, it looks cute on a bookshelf, but she's thick. So if you don't have a lot of room, it's a downside. I'm not gonna lie to you. Alrighty, we're on the last home stretch. 9 eyeshadow palettes were used once, which, you know, it's better to get one use than none at all. And some of these were just to make my no pan left behind goal, and that video with my Q1 progress will be up sometime soon. This won't be a spoiler because I already did my Deca panning update, but Urban Decay Stone Vibes, I use this one more time to, and there's a cat hair in it, or that looks like a Shiloh hair. I use this one more time to hit my no pan left behind goal, and it did roll out of that project. I used both of my Odin's Eye Planet Spirit and Flora Story palette. So Planet Spirit I used for the 2 remaining greens, and I use this in combination with another palette, so I'll just stick that look with both palettes because each palette got only used once. But I used it for the last 2 remaining green shades. This is a beautiful summer palette. Then Odin's Eye Flora Story, I just had some of the green shades to use left, and this is the look that I made with it. Super pretty. I really enjoy the color story of Amanda's palette. I don't think I got a look with this one. Morphe 35 XS, No Silent Nights. This is huge. I got it as a gift. I do not support Morphe, but this is huge. And I mean, I do enjoy the palette. I obviously do. Use it when I need something simple, or, you know, like I'm really craving some neutral tones. I don't remember the look I did. Did a really soft spring look with the Garden of Juvia's palette. I mentioned this in my spring palette video. I'll link that down below. Super shifty. I love the shimmers in there. I definitely know I did not get a look with this one. The Huda Nude Light, I used it to use these 2 purples. It wasn't anything spectacular. I used this in the crease, this all over the lid. I did that look on Good Friday, so you're not missing much. Use Glam Light. Michaela, I love this palette. I'm so happy that I have this. It is just super colorful and super intense. If I remember correctly, I think I did a green look, green and yellow. I know I definitely used something in here. 18 Hit Wonders. I think about decluttering this all the time. I just can't because it has some of my favorite colors. I wore the silver. The silver is beautiful. And I used, I think, the green shade. Moss is like one of my favorite shades in this whole palette. Do need to use this palette more. But yes, use this combination with the Planet Spirit palette to make a really pretty look. Then the final and last palette that I have to show you is the Fantasy Cosmetica Bard palette. And I just needed to use 2 more shades. It was the green and the yellow in the golden color. So I did a look with the both of them in combination with another palette, the Avocado Toast. So I'll post that look here, and I won't add it to my avocado colors you saw earlier. But yes, beautiful. I already talked and raved about Fantasy Cosmetica. Those are all of my stats for March. Again, wore makeup 26 days. I wore 17 different eyeshadow palettes. 3 of them were new, so 15 of them were already in my collection. No, 14 was already in my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like, comment, subscribe for more content in the future. I plan on doing these palette roundups once a month. I used to do them over my Instagram and I stopped doing them over there when I would make videos over here. Also follow my Instagram, watch any of the videos that I link down below if you need further entertainment. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Bye.